A master farmer to me is someone who's an excellent producer and financial manager, someone who positively contributes to their community and the mentees that they mentor over the years, whether that's formal or informal, and generally just a good person. And Bob is all of that and more. He's the epitome of a master farmer to me.
My name is Bob Schultz. I've been a farmer all my life, and I just never wanted to do anything else. This is all I really like to do. My dad was a farmer. Both of my granddads were farmers, so I definitely had some good mentors. My dad thought whenever he went by a farm and it said, in the generation or 100 years or whatever, he just thought that was somebody that didn't have enough gumption to get off of their butt and go out and get their own farm. When we got older, there was never a mention of him taking us in as partners or anything. I bought this farm in 1979. The first farm that I started off on, I rented in 1962, and things just kept going up from there. Produce crops are a little different to sell than commodity crops. You have to cultivate people, and it's a personal relationship. And if you have good stuff and reasonably priced and you can get along with the guy, you're in business. We had some people we sold to for over 50 years. Watermelons, cantaloupe, and a small amount of green peppers, tomatoes, and cucumbers. Oh, we raised pumpkins a few years too, but they didn't work out. We've done cover crops for 60 years. There's a talk about phosphorus leaving the land and going into the waterways. The only way we ever applied phosphorus was as starter fertilizer. It would be in the soil. And the nitrogen, we never put it on in the fall. We always side dress it, so it's put on there when it's ready to be used. We try to take care of it so it'll be good shape for the next generation.
It was a handshake deal. Farm Credit took a chance on him, gave him a check to start farming or help him get his farming operation to the next level. And the rest is history. I mean, he's been a member of Greenstone for 65 years, which is amazing.
I don't have one single machine on this farm that's less than 25 years old. We have tractors that are as old as almost 70 years old. One of our hardest work tractors is 1970. Our combine this year turned over the 9,000 hour mark. The combine I had before, an International 403, had 11,150 hours when we quit using it. And it wasn't that it wasn't any good. It's still out in the barn, still capable of doing a job. We needed something bigger. But everything we have, no self-respecting farmer would even attempt to farm with it. I just feel that I'm further ahead by doing it this way. And also there's a certain amount of sentimentality. These machines put this farm together, and why kick them out? I like old stuff. All these buildings are old. These are all moved here.
If he pulled up and you just get to know him, you would have no idea just how successful he is. And I've always appreciated that about him. I honestly think of him in the back of my mind when sometimes I make some big financial decisions, like what would Bob do? And it keeps me grounded. The first real estate closing I had with him, probably 11 years ago, I get to the title company. He pulls up in this 1970s blue Chevy truck that is totally rusted out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this guy, And looking back, I can see, that's just Bob. But here he is pulling up to buy $1 million farm in a beat up truck. And that's just who he is.
I like people that start at the bottom and work their way up. Somebody that steps in and takes over the parents' business or whatever, they're missing out on the fun. I think Javier is having a time of his life. I can do less and less every year. I assume Javier will be working whatever he wants to work of it. I would not rent the farm to one person. And I would give preference, at least a part of it, to somebody that has this dream that wants to start farming. And I would take some risks with him or her, whatever. But I think that's what's going to happen. It seems to me the harder you work, the luckier you are. If you're a pessimist, you're never going to get ahead. Never. If you're an optimist, you have a good chance of getting ahead. No guarantees, but a good chance. And if you're going to be in business, you have to trust people.